I think in my whole career it happened once. Sorry to cut you already. This is a red flag, but continue.
I did 3 hair trials. She likes it styled, but she doesn't like it on her. Are you redoing it at the trial?
Unfortunately, that a lot of hairstylists, and not to discredit anyone.
What is a good prep?
I swear to God, I couldn't believe that her hair did not move.
Tell me, what should I have done? What should the stylist have done? And how to better prepare the next time?
Her hair, if I do that, oil leaks from her hair.
Is it normal for me to request anti-frizz, anti-humidity stuff be used in my hair, or should the artist like by default know?
A regular hairstylist and a bridal hairstylist, is way different.
But I did not even consider this.
Welcome to Wedding Wednesday, the podcast that's about to spill all the tea on what it's like to plan a wedding from the bride's perspective and all the details no one talks about. I'm creating the podcast I need to keep me sane and feeling less alone as I plan my own wedding. We're diving deep into the hilarious, messy, and sometimes crazy world of wedding planning and wedding horror stories. Get ready to laugh, cry, and maybe feel a little less alone in this wedding planning madness.
Hello. Welcome back to Wedding Wednesday. My name is Adriana, and today we're chatting with luxury hairstylist Vanessa 𝐬𝐫𝐫. She's going to tell us everything that we need to know when it comes to bridal hair and bridal hair styling in general. So with that, let's welcome our guest today. Hi, Vanessa. How are you?
Hi, Adriana. Thanks for having me.
Of course. How are you feeling today being on Wedding Wednesday?
Amazing. I couldn't wait. Yeah.
Excited?
I am.
Amazing. So I want to know what it is about luxury hair in general that made you want to go into that as a career.
I actually do bridal hair I've been doing bridal hair for only 4 years since COVID.
Okay.
So I'm a hairstylist, I'm a hair colorist, so I do everything.
You do it all?
I've been doing more work in salon. And it's been only since COVID that I dig into bridal hair, and I actually love it. I love doing big, luxurious, very special hairstyles.
Yeah.
And so it's been only 4 years.
Yeah. And your career has exploded, I think, in that time. But what does the process look like if somebody comes to you and says, I want you to do my hair for my wedding? How do you start that process?
So first of all, doing a trial is not something mandatory with me. Okay. Only 25% of my brides do trials, and you cannot book a trial before you have booked my services for your wedding. So I need to feel that you trust my work, you trust me. And then after we do a consultation, we look into the styling you want for your wedding day. What's your what kind of hairstyle fits you the best? Do you like your hair up? Do you like your hair down? Are you someone who sweat a lot? If you sweat a lot and you're gonna dance a lot on your wedding day, obviously I'm not gonna suggest you to have your hair down, because even if my hairstyles last pretty well, I cannot control sweat. Sweat is water, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we prep well the hair, so we have like a long-lasting hairstyles, but sweat, this is something we cannot control, and it becomes wet under the hair.
Yeah.
So we go over all these details to see what would fit the best with the bride, and obviously depending on her bridal dress. So we look into all these details, and then after we look if she needs extensions. 98% of the time they need extensions.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a Hollywood wave, this is a must. Even if you have long hair, thick hair, it's not a question. You need extensions. So pretty much all the time they need extensions. Sometimes it's 2-pack. It's really depending on the hairstyle you're going for. So if you go for an updo, sometimes I do it without extensions because they have pretty long and thick hair. But if you're looking for something very voluminous and big, it's better to have extensions. Even it holds better.
It does, yeah.
If you're looking for like a Hollywood wave, we can do it with 1-pack, but I pretty much all the time suggest 2-packs. The only difference, it really depends on the budget of the client, of the bride. And sometimes people think that if they have thick hair and long hair, they do not need, or they only need 1-pack. It's the opposite, actually. If you have very thick hair, you need 2-pack, because if I put only 1-pack of extensions, this extra length that I'm adding is gonna look so thin comparing to your hair. So we need actually 2-pack to fill the ends.
Right.
So and extensions help a lot the hair to last. Some of the hair types don't last at all.
Okay.
They're so straight. So extensions help a lot for the length, the volume, and a lot long-lasting hairstyle.
How many grams are in one pack?
So in one pack, if we're going for like a Hollywood wave, let's say, like most of the time we go for 22 inches. I am wearing 22 inches, so it can give you an idea. Because they shrink about 2 inches when we wave them.
Okay.
So in one pack, you have 240 grams of hair.
Okay.
Which is 7 pieces.
Okay. Okay. So that's what you would recommend is
Yeah.
So one pack was 240 grams.
Exactly.
Okay. So you recommend 2 depending on the style. What if a bride doesn't want to do the Hollywood waves, but still wants a curl? Do you recommend or no?
When you say curl, do you mean still Hollywood wave, but a different hairstyle, or just curls?
Okay, let's talk about what I'm thinking for myself. I did 3 hair trials, 3 different artists. The first one did the Hollywood waves on me, and I thought it looked nice, but it felt very unnatural on my hair. I don't know if it's the Hollywood wave itself or if it's just on me. It just didn't feel like me. So then the second and third hairstylist, I asked them to do just like a regular curl. The first one used a curling iron. I think it was like a 1-inch barrel. The second one used a straightening iron to create the curls.
Okay.
I didn't like the curls of either one. So then when I was looking on Pinterest at hairstyles, I was noticing that I was pinning hairstyles of curls that were done with bigger barrels, like 1.5 inch, to give me, I guess, a little bit of that Hollywood wave vibe without it being like so, feeling like so fake on me, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, doing curls with 1 inch, it's a very small barrel. So obviously your curls are going to be tighter. And when your curls are very tight, if you're looking more for like a Hollywood wave, more a wave than a curl style, it's not really suitable for the face. Okay. It's very tight. It's very, it's not suitable for the face. So I personally work with a 1.25 inch barrel for my Hollywood waves. Okay. And then after you can always like stretch it a bit more, a bit less. It's the way you style the hair. I personally hate the waves. I never do it with a flat iron. First of all, it's not good for the hair. So you have flat barrel of the flat iron, and when you twist it, you're actually breaking the hair, which is not good. And it leaves some marks. So your waves are not smooth. So when you're going to brush it or style it, you're going to see the mark of the barrel of the flat iron, which I don't like. And it's not really nice. So I think that those are the reason why you didn't like both of the hairstyles. And Hollywood waves could be so different. So it could they could have been done in so many waves. So you can do a half up, half down with Hollywood waves. You can do Hollywood waves to the side. You can do a middle part with Hollywood waves. So Hollywood waves are very nice. It's a very timeless hairstyle, but you have to adapt it to every person's face. Every person's face is different. Every person's face shape is different. So if you have like a more an oval face like yourself, you have a pretty face, by the way. I wouldn't go too high. Because it's gonna make the face look longer. So if you do like volume on the top, if you don't like volume, I would go maybe for like a lower bump, or I would go for maybe a middle part, especially if you're used to wear your hair like this with middle part. So you have to go with how you usually wear your hair, but in a more elevated way.
Yes.
It has to look like yourself, but in the best version possible. So, and this is a look that needs to be clean. It can be frizzy, can be messy, and curls at some point. It's curls. You know, I personally find, unfortunately, that a lot of hairstylists, and not to discredit anyone, very often they do curls and consider these waves, which are not. Waves are initially curls, but they are styled in a way, they are transformed into waves. So we have to know the difference. You know? And not everyone likes Hollywood waves or waves. Many brides, they like more curls or more messy. So you have to go with, I always ask for an inspiration picture, especially when I don't know the bride. I want to know what's the look you're aiming for. what's her style? I don't know her style.
Yeah.
If she's been my client since forever, I know her style. Even if she asks me for something and I know she doesn't really like that, I'm not going to be shy to let her know, hey, by the way, I don't think you're going to like that. We'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
But I think knowing you personally for a long time, I don't think this is something you're going to like or that's going to suit your face or your style.
Yeah.
But it's important to explain.
Yeah.
Expectations are something a lot of artists don't put in their place. This is something very important.
True.
And that's why many brides and clients are very often disappointed.
Okay.
They have very high expectations and the stylists don't put them, they're not realistic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If you're aiming for Hollywood waves and your hairstylist accept to do it without extensions, I'm telling you, definitely, you're going to be disappointed. You won't have what you want.
Doesn't give the drama.
Exactly. So for the thickness, the fullness, everything, the long lasting. And if you don't have extensions to make it look full, especially if you have layers in your hair, at some point, the hair is going to divide and it's going to go back to curls.
Yeah.
Which very often happens and people are disappointed and don't know and they don't understand why. But you have to explain it. People don't know. This is your job. I always say, take the blame. Since the beginning, explain everything. And then after, if it doesn't work, well, I think we're not the perfect match and it's okay.
Yeah. So do you start with like a consultation or a conversation with the bride before they book you for their wedding?
So first of all, I function a lot by DM. To be honest, I love DMs because you can see it's very easy to send inspiration pictures. Sometimes you send a publication from like another artist's page. It's very easy. You have a quick conversation. It's very easy. So they start by asking me the questions. I answer all the questions, and if it's okay with the budget, then we go further. And I start asking what's their inspiration picture, what time they have to be ready, and I set the right expectations since the beginning. And if it doesn't work timing wise, the hairstyle, the budget wise, since the beginning, I'm not gonna lose your time. And I don't want you to lose mine.
Right.
Very respectfully, you know? So
you start with a DM conversation.
Yeah.
Let's say the DM conversations goes well. You're you're both on the same page. The bride chooses to book you for her wedding. You come. When do you do the trial? Like 2 months before the wedding?
Yeah, 2 months,
like
1
that.
month.
Okay.
Not too far and not too close.
Okay.
Because let's say she does the hairstyle and it happened. She does the wedding trial and she's like, oh my God, I love this hairstyle, but I don't really like it on me.
Right.
And then we're too close to the wedding date. She's going to start having anxiety. I'm fully booked. I cannot fit her anywhere in my schedule. So I always suggest 1 to 2 months before we have like an extra time if ever, God forbid, something happens. And I prep very well my bride. So from the color to the haircut to the extensions to the trial, everything. The day of the wedding, we only style.
Yeah.
No stress. The bride is ready.
Yeah.
And she knows the process.
Yeah.
And I ask everything I need in advance so we don't rush and run last minute the day of the wedding.
Yeah.
She's already stressed. She has so much to handle. So you don't want to make her stressed the day of the wedding. You're actually the one who has to take her stress and give her calmness the morning of.
Right. So let's say that bride who says at the trial, this is 2 months before her wedding, she's at the trial with you. She likes the style, but she doesn't like it on her. Are you redoing it at the trial or are you booking another trial? Like, how do you typically handle that?
Look, I think in my whole career it happened once.
Okay.
Once only. And I always book my wedding trials in the afternoon. Why? Because I don't book anyone after her.
Okay. So
I don't want to be, exactly. I want to have all the time. And after we're done, they have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I want to be able to answer all the questions. I want her to feel secure. You know, she's booking you because she trusts you. So you have to control the situation. You have to manage. She doesn't know. So you have to answer all her questions. I often tell them to bring their accessory, their veil. Sometimes they buy accessories they like, but it doesn't really match with the kind of hairstyle they want. So these are things we check before, and we always have extra time to correct them, to change them, to work on them. So it happened only once, and we booked, and she really wanted to see the exact look.
Yeah.
So we booked another trial.
Okay.
But it happened only once, and she was so happy after. And you know what was the difference? She wanted an updo. And I'm speaking, that was in the beginning of my career in bridal, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. My bride came from Ottawa, and she has very, very curly hair, Egyptian like you. And she wanted an updo because she was afraid of sweating. She sweats a lot. And she's like, I know my hair is going to frizz. It's not going to last. So we did an updo. It was gorgeous, but it wasn't her.
Yeah.
It didn't match with her personality. She's like, I look at myself, I love the hair, but I don't like it on me.
Right.
And obviously I don't take it personal because it's not against the hair or the hairstyle or myself. It's just, it doesn't fit her.
Yeah.
Her personality, her look, her style. And she was so stressed about that. And she had to go back to Ottawa.
Okay.
She had 2 hours drive. So we're like, look, think about it. We take a lot of pictures at the trial and think about it. And we had a lot of time ahead. If ever you want to try something else, let's book another trial.
Okay.
And this is what we did. We ended up doing a half up, half down. So she had the hair off her face. And what I did the day of her wedding. The day of her wedding was 43 degrees.
In Ottawa.
In Ottawa.
Goodness.
I can't forget this day. We were sweating.
Oh my gosh.
So what I did, she has very curly hair. So I put the first row of extensions very low.
Okay.
So most of the hair is extension that touches her back. Not a lot from her natural hair. So when the first row touches her back and she sweats, it's not going to curl all her hair. It's the first row of extension that's going to absorb the sweat, and her hair did not move.
Wow.
The day of her wedding. I won't lie, I was stressed.
For sure.
A lot.
Genius, though.
Like, I was sweating when I was leaving her room.
You were like, please, God.
Yeah. And I had so many of my clients. I have a very big Egyptian community, and my clients, and they were all in Ottawa at her wedding, and they kept sending me DMs and stories of her at the end of the night. And I swear to God, I couldn't believe that her hair did not move.
Wow.
I even doubted myself. So in the end, and until today, it's been 6 years she's my client. She's now a mom.
Okay.
And I've been doing her hair for all her events.
Wow.
And yeah, so it happened only once, and you always manage, but give yourself time.
Yeah.
You have to know that this is a very stressful moment for a bride. She's been preparing her wedding for over a year for some of them. For some of them, it's the most beautiful and biggest day in their whole life.
Yeah.
So you don't want to mess it up. And you don't want to be the one who messes up, you know?
For sure.
It's a big responsibility.
It is.
So yeah, it's just like knowing how to manage, always being solution oriented, helping them. You have to be a resourceful and very calm presence with them. And the day of the wedding, it happened that I had to look at my bride. I'm like, hey, look at me. Stop. Okay, this is your day. Forget about anyone else. And I close the door. I'm like, this is your time. Enjoy it. Sometimes you have to put them back in their place, but you have to do it in the right way.
Right.
You don't make the bride cry, obviously.
No, yeah, obviously. That would be awful.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow. That girl that you did the half up, half down, did she do Hollywood waves?
Yeah, they were Hollywood waves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did she have any face framing pieces at all?
Yes, 2 pieces.
And they still didn't curl?
They didn't curl. I make them in a way, I tease a bit the roots here, so they're not touching the face.
Okay.
And girl, they are glued.
Okay.
So even if she sweats, nothing moves.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Wow. I want to know, okay, because yesterday, my third trial, I asked her, I washed my hair the night before, shampoo, conditioner, and then I let it air dry, and then I slept on it. And then I went to my trial the next day.
Sorry to cut you. Already, this is a red flag, but continue.
Okay, good. You're going to tell me everything you did wrong. I get there, and I'm like, oh, should I have blown it out first? Like, are you going to blow it out? She's like, no, it's fine. Like, I don't need to blow it out based off of my technique. You're good. I was like, okay. So as she was doing my hair, the end result was nice, but it looked a little messy, to be honest, for one. For two, I could see, do you have curly hair?
I do.
Okay, so
Very
you know,
curly.
like think to when you were 13 years old and you were straightening your hair and there's always some crimps that you can still see from the straight hair, and you don't know that unless you have curly hair, right? And I could see those little crimps throughout my hair, even though most of my hair was curly, it was curled with the straightener, I could still see those crimps. So she finishes the style. It looks nice, but it's not 100% finished. Whatever. We moved on to another style just to see, like, I tried an updo to see if I liked it. Confirmed I don't like it on me. And then I was off on my way, and that was that. But I knew in my gut, like, something was off about the whole thing. So as a professional, tell me, what should I have done? What should the stylist have done? And how to better prepare the next time?
So first of all, you always need to blow dry your hair, especially if you have curly hair.
Okay.
Girl, a bit of a humidity, you're gonna go poofy.
Yes.
So first of all, a good prep is the key.
What is a good prep?
So a good prep, what I tell my brides, they have to wash their hair the day before.
Okay.
No conditioner.
No conditioner. Okay.
You do not want the hair to be too soft the day of the wedding.
Okay.
It makes your work way harder. The hair is way heavier and softer, which is harder to style.
Yeah.
Doesn't last.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to see if ever, when I style brides, I actually crimp the hair, texturize it. So I do everything to have grip.
Okay.
I don't want it that soft. So I don't put conditioner on the extensions, and I ask my brides not to put conditioner on their hair.
Okay.
This is very important. Unless you have such a coarse hair and you cannot brush it, it's impossible. Then I tell them put just a bit in the ends, but you rinse it 100%.
Okay.
If you do not rinse well your hair, it's gonna look greasy.
Yeah.
You cannot create volume. The hair will separate.
Yeah.
Okay. It will shine, but not in the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So very important. Wash it the day before, not the same day, because if the same day, some of the brides have so much soft hair, it's gonna be too soft, static. So the day before, not in the morning, so you touch it the whole day and becomes greasy. At night, and blow dry it. No iron. Yes.
I have a quick
quick
question. In the shower, I had a hairstylist tell me once, you should shock it with cold water at the end.
It's a good thing, actually.
Yeah,
it's a good thing if you can support it.
To prevent the frizz. Is that true?
It helps a bit. It helps a bit. But I'm gonna tell you something. Not all the time.
Okay.
For the frizz, no. For the static.
Okay.
Frizz, it doesn't change anything. No.
Okay.
Even if you put cold water, if you don't prep well the hair, it could frizz.
Okay.
So it's not for the frizz, it's for the static. And most of the time when I style brides or clients in the winter, there is so much static, and this is because of the heat.
Okay.
It's like when you go home and you remove your scarf and your hat, and then your hair does that because of the static.
Yeah.
It's because of the heat. You're never going to have this in the summer.
Okay.
So it's for the static. It's not for the frizz.
Okay.
So a good prep, a good hair prep is key. So I always say no conditioner, wash it twice with a professional shampoo. And sorry for all these brands, but don't go wash your hair with Pantene and Dove and all these kind of shampoo. And girl, I've seen crazy stuff.
I'm sure.
I've done, I think she was one of my first brides ever. I told her to wash her hair twice. I think she was one of my first brides, like 5 years ago. And I arrived the day of her wedding. Her hair, if I do that, oil leaks from her hair to that point.
Oh my.
I work with greasy hair. I rarely wash clean hair.
Okay.
And I don't get disgusted.
Yeah.
But this time,
it was too much.
It was too much.
She had not washed her hair the night before.
No, she washed it. But there's a lot of people who do not know how to wash their hair.
Okay, I see.
And when you wash your hair with pharmacy product, they're filled up with chemical product. It makes your hair so heavy, doesn't clean it properly. So, and these people think this is normal. This is not normal to have greasy hair the whole time. So I think I emptied half of my dry shampoo bottle. And it was something. And she had dark hair. I can't forget. And when you have dark hair, it's even more shiny.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I figured a way. We didn't have the time to wash back her hair and blow dry it. She had so much curly hair. Anyway, it ended up being pretty, but I stress.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And most of the clients or brides that use a drugstore product, you're going to see they have a lot of dandruff, have greasy hair. Yeah. The hair is very heavy. When you work it, you touch your hands, it's like you have like wax. Okay? They clean their hair. It's never really clean. Okay?
Let's talk brands then. I'm a drugstore shampoo girl, but I'm happy to switch over.
You have to.
Yeah. Tell us, like, what do you recommend for brides or for the everyday person if it's the same thing?
So there's a lot of professional and very good brands. My two favorites are Olaplex or Amika. Okay. I very often recommend Olaplex for brides or my clients who have more sensitive, damaged hair. And Amika, because Olaplex is a very reparative brand. And Amika is a very hydrating brand. So if I have a client that has a very straight and fine hair, I would recommend Olaplex, not Amika. I don't want it to weight her hair down, to make it heavy. So I would recommend my Amika product for my curly girls, very coarse hair, very dry hair. It's gonna hydrate it.
I have dry, thin, curly hair.
I would go with the Amika, the orange one. It's for regular hair, for all types of hair. It's hydrating, but it's not gonna weigh down your hair. So this one, I love it. And mind you, you have to use professional product on your extensions. You have to treat your extensions like you treat your own hair. Okay? Extensions between you and me are not given. Okay? It's expensive. So you want to make it as an investment.
Yeah.
So you want to treat it the best way possible to keep them the longest possible.
Yeah.
So don't put drugstore product on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So the prep, we talked about night before prep. You're blow drying it after you're washing it.
Yes.
That the night before as well.
Exactly.
If I don't know how to blow dry my hair, okay, I have the Revlon round brush. Like it's not a Dyson. So is that okay? Can I use that?
Don't be fooled, by the way. Don't think the Dyson does the work for you.
Okay.
I see a lot of it. It's crazy because I don't work with Dyson.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people who adore it.
Yeah.
And hate it.
Okay.
It's either you love it or you don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. I think they sell you, it's marketing, right?
It is marketing.
They sell you the idea that it does the work for you. So obviously the girl in the publicity, she has already straight and easy hair. So obviously it's gonna do the work for you. But if you have very coarse and curly hair, you cannot expect to have a perfect blowout with this. You have to blow dry it. Old school technique, a brush and a blow dry and a good pair of hands, So if ever, I have two options. If my bride doesn't know how to blow dry her hair, we speak about these details again way in advance, or I book her at the salon the day before my last client. I blow dry her hair, or she does the best she can, and I touch it up in the morning before I start styling her hair. So we have two options.
Can I do it the best I can with my Revlon brush?
Of course,
okay.
Of course.
It's like it'll work. It'll do the trick.
But again, you don't have like a very coarse hair, so you can touch it up.
Takes me 10 minutes to do it with the Revlon.
I've worked brides' hair. They have black hair.
Yeah.
So this is something you have to work it. Like you really have to do a very good blow dry, So these girls, I've done their hair the night before, obviously.
Okay. We get the morning of, we wake up morning of. Is there any hair prep to do the morning of before you get there? No. Okay, nothing to do there. Okay. We get to the morning of. If I have 5 bridesmaids, mother of the bride, and me, who do you like to go do first and last and middle? What's the order of the hair that you prefer?
I only do the bride.
You only do the bride?
I only do the bride.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you only do the bride, do you recommend somebody for the rest of the wedding party?
I don't like your question. They might maybe not like me.
It's
okay. I'm still going to answer.
But it's honest to you, so it's okay.
I've recommended many people in the past to my brides for their bridal crew. And unfortunately, I always had very bad feedback.
Yeah.
So because of that, unfortunately, and with all due respect for everyone, all artists and everyone, I do not recommend anyone anymore because I don't want to get bad feedback anymore. So I do the bride only, and I tell them they have to hire another hairstylist for the bridal crew. And believe me, brides love that. You cannot, as one person, do 8 bridesmaids. On top of it, the bride, and everybody's going to be perfect and done before 11 a.m. Doesn't make sense, you know?
Yeah.
And people are hiring you for you, but if I'm going to bring a team, it's not me who's going to do the work. But I still have to manage and to keep an eye and to control the quality. But how can you control? You cannot control the quality of something you haven't done. This is not you. This is not your hands.
Okay.
So because of that, I am and this is how I work in my salon. It's quality over quantity. I'm not greedy in my way of working and booking. I rather book more time, less clients, than doing more clients. And not everyone is 100% happy. And believe me, people who are not happy talk way more than someone that is happy.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Okay, good to know. I want to talk to you about the bride who doesn't know what to do for her hair at all. Like, I'm a type A bride. I got my inspo pics. Like, I'm ready with my questions. Like, I'm asking what I'm doing the night before. But you also have the bride who maybe she chose her dress, but she like doesn't know what she wants. Like, she likes all the styles. She doesn't know what she would choose. Have you ever had a bride sit on your chair at the trial and say, I don't know what I want?
Yeah.
And then how do you guide them from there?
So I ask questions.
Okay.
I ask questions and for example, I tell her, do you put your hair up? If she tells me no, never, then I won't propose an updo. Okay. You want her to feel comfortable. Like, if you never have your hair up and then once in a time you have it at your wedding day and you don't feel yourself, you know?
Yeah.
This is not something I'm going to propose. So I ask a lot of questions to get to know my bride, her style, her what she likes, what she don't. This is something very important.
Yeah.
Because not only you want to know what she likes, but you want to know what she doesn't like.
Yeah.
So it helps you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then after, it's like you eliminate.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, so maybe she likes it up, but not totally up. She needs hair down. So maybe half up, half down. And I show her some inspo pictures and I see her reaction. If she's like, she doesn't react on some picture, I'm like, okay, so definitely this is not for her. I show her other pictures and I see her smile and she looks excited. I'm like, okay, so let's try this. And by the way, we can always define it to your face, to your style. It's not because it's like this in the picture that you're gonna look exactly copy paste.
Yeah.
Even if you show me a picture of my work, which very often happens, you're never gonna have exactly the same. Every Hollywood wave is different. Hair color, hair texture, the bump. Do you like it high, very low? Do you like a lot of volume? Less? Do you like it behind the ear? It's so different. So every single Hollywood wave is different. Every single updo is different. Can you put twice the same hair at the same place?
No.
I don't think so. So even if I have done the hair in the inspo picture, it's gonna look very similar, but it's not gonna be the same.
Right.
So, and you adapt. Some of them don't like bangs, like face framing.
Yeah.
Some of them, they like to
do.
lift the eyes. So we do like a lifting, you know. Some of them like it to the side, to the middle. We adapt the hairstyle. There's one hairstyle that is nice on everybody. I had once a bride bringing me an inspo picture of Hollywood wave with a bump. And then we tried it. And I looked at her in the mirror and I was waiting because I didn't want it to come from me. Okay. Because when I tell them something, I know they consider a lot my opinion because it's a professional one. Okay. But in the end, this is their hair. Okay. So I'm like, how do you feel about the hair? Do you like it? And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, me neither. I don't know. I'm like, I think there's something wrong in front. I think that I don't really like the bump on yourself. How about, I'm like, how do you wear usually your hair? She's like, middle. I'm like, okay, we took pictures. And I'm like, how about trying middle? I'm like, it's a trial. We're going to mess it up anyway. We tried a middle and that was for her.
Okay.
So we kept the Hollywood waves, but we did a middle part. Just this changed everything.
Okay.
So this is very important. You have to listen.
Yeah.
A lot of artists, unfortunately, don't listen. It's a matter of time and booking more. And in the end, you're going to lose like this.
Yeah.
You're going to lose clients. You're going to lose credibility.
Yeah.
And when you lose clients, you lose money, you lose reputation,
It's
people,
true.
and it's like a bad circle.
Yeah.
So give them time. Clients need to feel heard. You need to listen to them. If you don't listen to them, most of them don't know what they want. So how can you understand what they want if you do not listen?
Yeah.
The communication is pretty important.
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah. Fair enough. So would you say not to expect the trial hair to look 100% like the day of the wedding hair? Of course. Yeah, it's never going to be like 100%
I always tell them, yeah. So first of all, I don't put the amount of spray that I put on the day of the wedding. Some of them, they ordered their extension. They didn't have the time, let's say, to wash it before the trial, which is okay, but it has to be done before the wedding. So if you haven't washed your hair extensions, clip-ins, they have a keratin silk coat that covers them to protect them. So if you're wearing them straight, it's okay. But if you're gonna wear waves or curls, it's not gonna last because it's very silky. So you need to wash them. When you wash them, they expand and they hold pretty well. So if you go back home and your extension don't really last, you're gonna be like, I don't understand. Like, my hair didn't last for half an hour. How is it gonna last for 12 hours? You know? And sometimes it's the husband to be that come and pick them up. They don't want the husband or the family or friends to see the actual wedding hairstyle. So we remove it. Okay, so the important is to see the overall look, have an idea. And I personally find I want you to have this wow effect on the day of the wedding. If you've had it before, it's nice, but it's not that special. It's like you've had it before.
Yeah.
So that's why I create a hairstyle almost the same, but I don't put as much of product. And we take pictures, and the day of the wedding, it's more than perfect.
Okay.
They don't have one flyaway.
Okay. Would you say then no to keratin and no to glossing like 3 months before the wedding?
Yes. Absolutely.
Avoid
you answered your own question.
Yeah.
So what you're not helping yourself and the hairstylist. So when you do these kind of treatments, the hair won't last. It's not helping you, and you want the hair to last over 12 hours. Some of the brides are having their hair done at 6 a.m. and they're partying until 3 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
So you want the hair to last.
For sure.
So imagine if you have done keratin or hair Botox, sometimes even it's straightened a bit, tanninoplasty and all these kind of treatments. So it really doesn't help you. Don't do it.
Yeah. Okay. Avoid. If like my hairstylist, okay, I don't know how to ask this question. Is it normal for me to request anti-frizz, anti-humidity stuff be used in my hair? Or should the artist like by default know, you have curly hair, you have frizzy hair, we're for sure going to use those types of products?
When you're the client, you're not supposed to be the one requesting this.
Yeah.
If you're going to someone who understands your type of hair, they know the assessment.
Yeah.
They know what to do, they know what to use, and that's it. It's like going to a dentist and I'm requesting him what I actually need in my teeth to be done.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Very good point.
So no.
It's not normal.
No, it's not.
So that's actually a good tip you just said, like, make sure that the artist you're working with understands your type of hair and has worked with your type of hair before.
Of course.
But some of them, sometimes they say yes, and then example, yesterday I get there and I said, oh, you're going to use an anti-humidity spray. Can you use like anti-frizz spray? She was like, I've never had anybody tell me in 10 years that I need to use these certain things. Like, typically my hairstyles last. I feel like a lot of artists say my hairstyles last, but I don't feel confident in her knowing that my hairstyle is going to last. Does that make sense?
It does. So I always say there's 50-50 responsibility. What I mean by that, so the hairstylist needs to be very honest. If this is something you're not comfortable working with, like very coarse hair, wigs. I've done black girls' hair. I've worked on a wig, but I don't think everybody's specialized first in bridal. Because a regular hairstylist and a bridal hairstylist, sorry, is way different. I'm going to tell you what's the difference.
Yeah, tell us.
So when you style just cute waves and the person leaves your salon and they last for like a few hours and they drop, it's okay. It's not the wedding day. But as a wedding hairstylist, you are styling someone's hair and they have to last for up to more than 12 hours.
Yeah.
Not everybody has maybe the experience, the capacity, the knowledge, the everything to create this type of hairstyles. And it's not because you're a hairstylist, you do curls, that you know how to do Hollywood waves. And Hollywood waves, it's what we talk the most. A lot of people assume they do Hollywood waves, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see the difference in a picture. You can see the difference how they last. You can see the difference of your inspo picture and your current hairstyle, you know?
Yeah.
So that's first. And second, the other 50%, it's the client's responsibility. So if I'm a client and I'm shopping my hairstylist and I'm requiring something that I don't actually see on the artist's page, most probably they don't know how to create it. Because if they were able to do it, they would most probably have a picture of it on their page.
Yeah.
Okay? So before, I used to post so much blondes. I'm a blonde expert. So people used to ask me, do you do cuts? Because I didn't used to post a lot of cuts. When I started doing a lot of Hollywood waves, this is all I used to post on my page, because this is all what my brides used to ask me for.
Yeah.
I used to receive messages asking me if I know how to do updos. So now I post updos.
Yeah.
So you have to post what you do. So if ever I'm requesting something that I don't see on your page, I have the responsibility as a client to maybe think that hairstylist maybe don't know or is not comfortable with this hairstyle. So I cannot expect to have exactly this. So there's the client's responsibility and there's the hairdresser, the hairstylist responsibility to be honest.
Okay.
To say, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm not very comfortable in creating this hairstyle because between you and me, I don't want you to be disappointed on your wedding day.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
This is not we don't have a second take.
Yeah.
On your wedding day.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
It's true. If you're styling the hair to last 12 hours, does that mean you typically go back at the reception to do a touch up, or it's not needed?
I'm not going to say it's not needed, and it really depends on the hairstyle. So if you're doing an updo, my updos, girl, they don't move.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You have millions of bobby pins, it doesn't move. But also an updo, if you sweat, you dance, it doesn't really touch your skin and it doesn't move. But if you're having a Hollywood wave, I always tell my brides, it's a beautiful hairstyle, but it's a very high maintenance hairstyle.
Yeah.
So if you're planning of turning your head so much and doing a backflip and dancing, and you cannot expect your hair to not move.
Yeah.
When you turn left and right, your makeup doesn't move, but your hair does.
Yeah.
So this is very important, and most of the brides have a lot of beads and details in their dress. So every time they move, the hair gets stuck in these details, so it frizzes the hair. So I always tell them.
Oh my God, I did not even consider this.
I'm telling you this because if you don't do bridal, you don't think about these details.
It's true.
So I always tell my brides, you look royal. And I think Melanie mentioned it.
She did.
You look royal, you act royal.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Royals don't turn their head left and right. They turn the head with the body.
Yeah.
Okay?
Are there hairstyles, though, that allow you to still move a bit more than just being just more stiff?
You're stiff.
You're stiff. Either
stiff.
way, you're stiff.
You're stiff. Okay. I always tell them, stay like this until your picture, and girl, if you want to backflip after, do whatever you want. At least your pictures look good. And most of the brides don't book touch-ups. I know what is the main reason, and I'm going to be very honest with it. It's a budget-wise.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's expensive. Why? Because you're asking your hairstylist to be available the whole day.
Yeah.
On a weekend.
Yeah.
Far from their kids, for some of the people who have kids, from their family, their hubbies, and you know it's a weekend, so you're technically don't have any days off. Me, I work the whole week. I have a salon, so I work weekdays and weekends. So you're asking these people to just be sitting there and available for you to touch up at any time. So. And it's let's say I'm styling you in the downtown, so I'm not gonna wait for hours in downtown. Most probably I'm gonna go back to my house, and go back again to you. So this is time, gas, energy, you know. So this is the reason why. But I can tell a big percentage of my brides, I see their stories at the end of the night, and it still look pretty well.
Okay.
Pretty good. My hairstyles last very well. And I know and I always tell my brides, if your hair looks perfect at the end of the night, I know you did not have fun.
Okay.
Okay?
That's
so
a good tip.
be stiff until your pictures, have pretty pictures, and then girl, have fun. Yeah. It's your day.
Oh my gosh. Insane. Very, very true. I wanted to ask you a question for a curly haired girl who wants to wear her curls. Do you have any style recommendations specifically for people who don't like their hair in their face, but still obviously want to keep their curls and make them look elevated and nice on the day?
I've done a very curly hairstyle for a bride in the winter. So she has very coarse, very thick, and very curly hair. And she told me, look, I don't have an inspo picture to show you. I haven't seen one on your page, but I trust you by looking to your work. So I want to look exactly the same, how I look naturally, but in a perfect way. I want my curls to be defined and look perfect. I want to look myself.
Yeah.
I said, I got you. I blow dried her hair. It took me 1 hour, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Just a blow dry.
Wow.
We didn't add any extensions. And the reel is actually on my page. You maybe have seen it before. So just the blowout was 1 hour, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Then I had, I for sure, I knew in advance what she wanted. So I always come prepared. I have an iron that is thin, like my little finger. Okay. And all her hair, I curled it one by one.
Wow.
And you cannot take thick pieces because it won't curl. It's
natural.
No, not just that. The iron is so thin, the heat won't go.
It doesn't go.
Okay. So I curled her whole hair like this. It took 3 hours. And I flat ironed just all her frizziness there in front and on the top. And she looked exactly like herself.
Okay.
But perfectly defined with no frizz.
Okay.
Girl, she was over the moon.
Okay.
So, and that was a down style. So she used to play with it. It's very natural. And obviously I opened like a few of them to make it look bigger, more volume. And the other hairstyle you could do is actually an updo with your curly hair. And I love when they leave like face frame in the front. It's very natural. It's very exotic, I find. But yeah, it's doable, definitely.
Okay, good to know. My last question for you is appointments. Like hair maintenance appointments, like haircuts and things like that. What do you recommend we do leading up to the wedding, 6 months out before the wedding? If anything.
So when I see my brides, most of the time I see them because we always order extensions. And then I see, do they need a cut? When I say a cut, this is very specific. Not a huge cut that you're going to have so much layers and a short cut. It's very important. When I say cut, it's just a cleaning of the ends because I don't want to shorten the front or have so many layers, depending on the hairstyle we're doing. But if you have dead ends look lighter. And we're adding extensions. You can see them through the extensions. And then it shows where your hair starts and finishes and where is like the continuation of the extensions. We don't want that. If they need a toner, if they need a cut, if they need maintenance hair product at home. I had a bride last weekend. She's ginger. She's naturally ginger, but she's very light. Okay. So we elevated her color, and then we ordered her extensions. But the color was so unique. So her hair color didn't exist in the color swatch. And by the way, I work only with Bellamy, so this is very important for me and my brides. So what we decided to do, we ordered 2 packs because she had very thick hair, but we want to create length. We wanted to create length. I customized the color of the extensions. Okay. I don't often do that, and I don't recommend because unfortunately, when you play with the color of the extensions, you lose the guarantee on it. Okay. You don't have warranty anymore, but we had no choice. Her color didn't exist.
Yeah.
In the color swatch, so I customized it, and girl, it was a perfect match the day of the wedding.
Okay.
So I prepped them from A to Z, treatments, cuts, colors, extensions. The day of the wedding, we only style.
Okay. So you're prepping like 2 months before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not last minute.
So then to like put a bow on this question.
But sorry to cut you. colors are done very last minute because you want them to be freshly done. So if it's a toner, I'm going to do it the same week. I don't want it to fade out, toner is semi-permanent. So I do it the same week in the beginning of the week. If it's a highlights or like permanent color, I do it like 1 week to 10 days before.
Okay. So this is really a question for every bride stylist at the end of the day. Yeah. And they'll have a custom answer. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell everybody, please, where they can connect with you and book you for their hair.
So if ever you want to require my services for haircuts, coloring, bridal, any type of hairstyles, you can reach out on Hair by Vanessa 𝐻𝐵 on Instagram, and it will be my pleasure to answer.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to everybody who listened today. Of course, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things because it really does help our podcast grow. And with that, I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.